Now, I said before that the Chartreuse Leprechaun is behind everything, so to prove it, let me explain the game according to the Chartreuse Leprechaun. The Chartreuse Leprechaun saw the spaceship Aurora approaching the planet, so he convinced the purple fish to fire up the alien cannon and shoot it down. Yes, this is the alien cannon from the game, so spoiler alerts. Now, the green giraffe realized the ship was about to be destroyed and everyone on it killed. So, working with the indigenous tribe of blue frogs, Union Local 1546, the green giraffe chased away the purple fish before the targeting sequence was complete. So the Chartreuse Leprechaun, with no other alternatives, was forced to eyeball the shot. He barely hit the Aurora, causing it to crash on the planet instead of being totally destroyed. And so the game begins.
Believe it or not, things don't always go his way. After the Aurora crashed on the planet, the Chartreuse Leprechaun left the planet. He was laughing and pretty pleased with himself. And then the blue flamingo started claiming credit for shooting down the Aurora. Now, again, the blue flamingo isn't actually blue. He's more like turquoise, and that's why people mispronounce his name as Tardis. But he has nothing to do with the Doctor. And again, I digress. Anyway, the blue flamingo got the purple frog to spread the word. Now, the purple frog has no relation to the indigenous tribe of blue frogs, Union Local 1546 from episode 1. But when the Chartreuse Leprechaun heard about the lies, he was not happy. Not happy at all. And he tried to lure those two over by a hungry stalker fish. Fortunately, the blue flamingo and the purple frog escaped the trap with the help of the golden seahorse. Needless to say, the stalker fish is still hungry, and he is looking for the Chartreuse Leprechaun.
Well, we need a sea glide, and two episodes in a row, no sea glide parts. And I'm sure you've noticed all the empty cargo crates lying around the ocean floor. Well, I'm convinced the Chartreuse Leprechaun is hiding those parts somewhere, and he's most likely partnered with that stalker fish, from episodes 2 and 3, and most likely a sand shark. Now, how he worked that out without being eaten, I have no idea. And I'm basing all this on information passed on by the indigenous tribe of blue frogs, Union Local 1546. But the truth is, it doesn't matter how they work together, they just do. The cargo crates are empty. There are no sea glide parts to be found. Anywhere. Well played, Leprechaun. Well played.
In episode 1, the Chartreuse Leprechaun shot down the Aurora using the alien cannon. His goal, for unknown reasons, was total destruction of the ship, but he failed because he just eyeballed the shot. But now, we have the Chartreuse Leprechaun, one survivor from the crashed Aurora, a massive debris field, quoting Captain Avery of the Sunbeam, which is a rescue ship headed this way, and we still have a fully functioning alien cannon. What could possibly go wrong?
Well, he did it. The Chartreuse Leprechaun trapped us here on the planet. He shot down the Aurora, he destroyed the Sunbeam, and to top that off, we're infected with some disease with an unknown cure, and we're even under planetary quarantine. We gotta get off this planet, but hey, no pressure, right?
Would it surprise you to learn I'm starting to believe the Chartreuse Leprechaun works for the government? What? How is that possible, you ask? Great question. Let me explain. The government controls the resources. All the stuff we can't find to make stuff we have to have. And what about all those overlapping government agencies with networks of agents that don't work together? Yeah, stalkerfish and sand sharks not working together. Right. And you're always traveling long distances for no reason to get anything done, like going island to island, repeatedly. Sure, I know it's a stretch of the imagination. I mean, who would believe an imaginary figure could wield the power of a vague, shadowy, non-existent government agency? Just kidding. The Chartreuse Leprechaun is just a Class A opportunist. So remember, if you see something and have no idea how it happened, the Leprechaun did it. Like somehow hiding all the sea glide fragments, or all the important resources suddenly going missing, or that dangerous creatures just appearing out of nowhere. Yeah, the Leprechaun did it.
Oh, mushrooms and leprechauns. Well, what do they have to do with each other? Well, for starters, did you know that Ireland alone consumes over 13 million metric tons of mushrooms every year? And of course, courtesy of the 1960s and 70s, we all know about the magical and psychedelic properties associated with mushrooms. And, there's lots of Celtic traditions that involve mushrooms and whatnot. But our leprechaun, the Chartreuse Leprechaun, he hates mushrooms. Now, he loves a good ale, sometimes a stout. Oh, and of course, whiskey, but I digress. Mushrooms. The Chartreuse Leprechaun does not like mushrooms. He does, however, like to bother other people with mushrooms, especially big, giant, enormous, fantastic mushrooms. Yeah, he hates mushrooms and what they do to him, but he loves watching what they do to other people.
Well, the Chartreuse Leprechaun tricked me. He did. He convinced me that a sea dragon leviathan in our last episode of Subnautica was actually a sea emperor leviathan, the next class up. So the Chartreuse Leprechaun got me to be more afraid than I needed to be, which is, well, it's kind of relative anyway. I mean, the sea dragon is pretty tough after all. I mean, it's a leviathan that shoots fire, and it eats reaper leviathans, and we know how tough those things are. And the Chartreuse Leprechaun has put us in some tough spots before, like his negotiated dealings with sand sharks and stalkerfish. The Leprechaun is such a grade A opportunist after all. So can you blame me for believing he has something going on with the warpers and the crab squids? I mean, we are talking the Chartreuse Leprechaun after all, right? The Chartreuse Leprechaun believes bigger is better. But let's just ask our survivor about that. Early on, we found the Reaper Leviathan, and then we found the Ghost Reaper Leviathan, then we found the Sea Dragon Leviathan, now we found the Sea Emperor Leviathan, and it's got eggs, and it wants our survivor to make it so the babies hatch. Well, if it gets him cured, I guess we're in, because if we get cured, then we can turn off that alien cannon that stranded us here in the first place. If the cannon is off, we can use our blueprints from the captain's quarters to make a rocket so we can leave this planet. Because that gets us away from the Chartreuse Leprechaun, right? Yeah, that's a solid plan. We're up for that challenge. What can go wrong, right? Did I go the wrong way? I did. Oh, that's fun. I just went 900 meters in the wrong direction. That was where we wanted to go. Well, fantastic.